The UK economy officially entered a technical recession, marking the first time since 2012. This comes after 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, with the final quarter of 2023 seeing a decline of 0.3%. While technically a recession, the overall contraction is relatively mild compared to historical trends. While the overall recession is mild, the specific impacts on different sectors vary. Services, the largest contributor to GDP, saw a 0.2% decline. Production, particularly manufacturing, experienced a steeper 1% contraction. Construction took the biggest hit, shrinking by 1.3%. Inflation remains a concern though, down from its peak. The Consumer Price Index currently stands at 4%, squeezing household finances and potentially hindering economic recovery. The Bank of England faces a difficult balancing act. On one hand, they need to address inflation to prevent a further strain on households and businesses. But on the other hand, raising interest rates could further dampen economic activity. Experts remain cautious about the future, with some predicting a prolonged period of low growth. The coming months will be crucial in determining the severity and duration of the recession and the effectiveness of policy responses. Well, for more on this, we're now joined by our correspondent Stuart Smith from London. Stuart, Rishi Sunak promised to grow the economy, but now we have confirmation that the UK is officially in, albeit a mild recession. Give us your assessment and also the political ramifications for this news.
Yeah, so it's problematic for Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, because by the Conservative Party's own metrics, one of the 5 targets was to grow the economy. And although it's mild, some in fact even calling it stagflation or stagnation, it does fit the definition of a technical recession, with the previous quarter down 0.3% and this one, with the previous one down 0.3% and the one before that down 0.1%. The Labour Party has reacted to that by saying that the promise to grow the economy from Rishi Sunak is in tatters, though the Conservatives can, to an extent, be pleased that it wasn't as bad as the Bank of England originally did forecast. Though going against that sense, especially when it comes to political ramifications, is that not only is this 0.1% GDP fall from quarter to quarter, compared to last year, per person, the country is now 0.7% worse off, with a large amount of immigration, meaning that more people, the economy not doing so well, and GDP per person looking even poorer than this headline statistic may even indicate, feeding into concerns which are very prominent in a lot of election coverage about migration. Now, Rishi Sunak and the Finance Minister here in the UK say that this is a sign, because it's not as bad as it was once predicted, that their plan is to a degree working. They're not going to make radical changes, the Finance Minister suggests. Jeremy Hunt saying earlier that what this means is that they should continue to cut taxes on work and business to build a stronger economy, sticking to the plan, the Finance Minister says. And there was some good news on Wednesday for the Conservative Party, with the fact that inflation didn't rise significantly. The Bank of England said it pretty much leaves the UK where it was, but it's still higher than desired at 4%, and shows that there's still room for progress in the UK economy. The OECD, a body which looks at the economic statistics of countries around the world, predicts that the UK economy is likely to grow more than France and Germany by 2025, but less than similar countries like Spain, Canada and Australia.
And of course, the Bank of England play a key part in all of this, holding interest rates currently at a 20-year high. What's your assessment on the Bank of England's next move? Are we set to see them starting to ease back, or is it too early to say?
Yeah, the Bank of England for now is not saying, as it usually doesn't. It likes to keep its cards close to its chest. But there are economists and people that work in the industry that are thinking there may start to be a fall in interest rates by June. So a few months yet, with this economic data showing that really there isn't much change, but the potential for a lowering of interest rates. Remember, the target is 2% for the UK economy, so 4% is well above what the Bank of England would like, though it's come down from a peak of 11%, so in that regard it is better than it was. And politicians like to claim credit when it comes to interest rate falls, but a lot of the time it's a reflection of the broader global economy or the economy in Europe, as well as domestic policies. So to an extent, this is partly out of the control of Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister.
Yes, it's a tough balancing act. Stuart Smith from London, many thanks for your insight.